Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it. Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here. It is now 8:30 a.m. EST. I'm taking a look at Bitcoin today. We had the Trump speech last night. We have some data coming out as we speak, actually, some employment data. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. First, we will remind you there's a free algo in the description. There's a link. Click the link. The algo is presented to you in a video. It's a very short video. It's really simple. We show you how to build an algo, turn it into code, and the tools that traders use connect their algos to their account so they can have it trade while they're not even sitting at the computer, have automated trading. You do have to optimize the algo before you do such a thing, though. So make sure you do that first. If you want to know how to do that, come talk to us. We'll teach you. It's what we do. AlgoFactory.tech. All right, so Bitcoin, yeah. I said it was probably going to grind up and head down, but it looks like it didn't have the energy to do that. This is as of Wednesday, yesterday. It just started to kind of waver a little bit, but I'm looking at the timing here, and it might be that the speech might have clamped down on the price here. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, it looks like the Trump speech knocked that down, as it did many other things. So, perhaps the projection was correct, but that's just what happened. So what's going to happen next? Well, just to take a quick look at the stack, I think it's just the same thesis that I've had, whether it's now or later. I think it's going to break down. So I think you're going to see price get first place to look, first kind of point where it has to bounce or it's getting more bearish is right here, where that blue line is 64,900, right? So basically, 65,000. So if price breaks below 64.9 and stays below that for a day, maybe even half a day, I'd say even one 3-hour candle right here. This is a daily candle though. So either way though, if this breaks and closes like today, and there's a good chance it's going to head down towards about 60,000. 60,000 is a more or less of a must bounce. It's the low that happened after this big move down from 96,000, right? So I just think that's what we're going to see. I think price is going to break down soon, and once it does, it'll probably be pretty strong. And then you'll see price go down to about 50,000. Now it could continue to panic down, but I think as we start to get below 50,000, it'll start to kind of level off and slow down. It'll still be bearish, but it won't be as bearish, right? So maybe something like I just drew. I mean, that's a simplistic look. It's not really necessarily based on, precision right there, but I think it'll be something along these lines. So I've been looking for shorts on the corn at this time. Take a quick look at the data that just came out. We'll share this screen. April 1st, April 2nd, unemployment claims. Yeah, a little bit less unemployment than expected, like 5% less. Not a very big news event there. Not a big news drop. So back to the charts. Yesterday, because of the speech, the markets moved pretty strong. And it's funny because, Trump made some comments at the beginning of the week to push the NASDAQ up, and yet it bounced right off of the prior consolidation here. So the NASDAQ price was going from 24.3 more or less up to depending how you look at it, maybe 25,200 was a pretty consistent bounce there at the end. So there just was price going back and forth and sideways for like 2 months. And then it started to show a little more bearishness. And I've been saying during those 2 months that the NASDAQ was vulnerable. I've been saying that it wanted to fall. Then we had some words from Trump earlier this week. Each week he would like say something to push the price up on a Monday. So like right here, right here possibly. I don't remember about that one, but this one definitely was last week. And he would say something about the war to kind of soften the rhetoric, and then the markets would return back. But here was the last time he said something relatively minor. And then now each time you do that, the effects of that become weaker. So you have to either expect that it's not going to work that well or say something stronger. So this prior Monday, he said something here that just kind of spiked the markets a little bit. We'll zoom in right here, and they went up a little bit, and then it didn't work. And then he had to say something huge right here, and that is that we don't necessarily have to reopen Hormuz to end the war, and that regime change has been accomplished, or has occurred, I should say. That he said that here, and the markets like went up nice and high. But all they did though was just bounce off this prior consolidation and head down. All they did was act like price tends to do in a bearish moment, where it goes up, grabs liquidity, and comes down. So if I were to take a look at the stack here just to see what the algos say, yeah, if I were to just map out what I think happens in the next like week or two, and again, this is so subject to change because price is just really sensitive to political events right now, potentially World War III and all that. So I'm looking at probably, it's two things. You could have price just kind of bounce in this area for a while and then get lifted back up, kind of like we talked about the last couple of days. But if the rhetoric gets worse, if give me 1 second here. If in fact the war escalates, or something happens, or I could even say if nothing is done, if nothing changes, there's really a chance price actually breaks down. Now this 22,750-ish area, that's actually a pretty strong level for liquidity. Give me 1 second. The wind has been blowing all night, messing with allergies here. So give me 1 second to straighten out. All right. Even if nothing is done, I think we have to see a significant change in policy here for what I'm about to describe not to happen. But typically, price just kind of touches on these prior highs. Talked about this on Tuesday, so go back and look at that show. So typically it does that, and then it just gets pushed up really fast. But there are other scenarios where it could take a much longer time to come up. Like it might come down. Usually it really shouldn't, if you're looking at history, it shouldn't go below 22.7, whatever that number is, 22,750, but it may have an extended bottom crawl for a while, a couple pop-ups, be messy, and not come up until later in the year. That could happen. But what'll probably happen in that place is if the markets can't really get any traction, get any bulls, anything like that, what's probably going to happen is they'll start juicing the market, and we'll probably see rate cuts just to keep things going, because we're in an election year. And even though it's not looking good for the Republicans, they'll try anyway. They just put all kinds of money towards it. And, when you start cutting rates, like a bazillion dollars go into the market, and then it goes up. And looks like you got some comments here. Morning, Meko. Always good to have you, brother. And we got Lisa Gray. It's always good to see you, Lisa. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. We appreciate that. That said, that's just where I think we're at. I think the next move for the NASDAQ, if I were to to try to trade it, let's just take a quick look again at the stack. Ooh, tough call on this. A couple ways to look at this, really. I think the opportunity was kind of there already in this little pull up right there, that little pullback. There might be another pullback though, so I'd be looking for either. It's tough because you want to catch the move down, but with the NASDAQ, it moves really quick. So what I might look for is some kind of move up and then short that. Now, it might not happen as I drew. It might be the price actually continues kind of down a bit, and then you get a pull up and then down, right? So, but I'd be looking for pullbacks on this and shorten those. That's how I would roll, because the trend is definitely and this is on the 30-minute chart. What is this? Yes, 30-minute chart. So this is going back to the speech last night. And I mean, it grabbed liquidity. Let's briefly look at the stack here to orient myself. Yeah, I think you're going to get a little more down, but it's probably not going to go as fast as this, of course, unless we get an event or something. But I'd have a target based on this structure down here. Maybe even this like structure here, but it depends on how like low time frame your trade is, right? But definitely before this, I'd be out. So something like that. And then, ideally the situation would be like one of these. So just look for a pullback of some kind. I mean, maybe it even goes a little higher, whatever it might be. And then I'd look to short that. That's the way the trade would look. So obviously I'm not in this. I don't really trade the NASDAQ. I should though. We've got one of our members doing really well. He built his algo pretty quick because he just went to work, and it was within like a few weeks that he built it. And of course, it takes a little bit of time to forward test that with like real market scenarios and real actual trading. You can't really speed that up. But he did. He back tested it, had it built and back tested within like a few weeks, which most guys take months. And so he went ahead and did like a challenge with a proprietary firm. So what's a prop firm? A prop firm is where you you might pay, $40 or $80 or something, and then you have to pass a test where you actually live trade. It might be like a demo account, it might be a small amount of real money. And then if you like win a certain amount of money, if you're profitable to a certain degree and you don't break their rules, because they have rules, then what you can do is they'll give you an allocation of like 10 grand or 50 grand. And then you trade that and they give you like 70, 80, sometimes a higher percentage of the profit. This is a way to actually get funded without having a lot of money, right? You just have to know how to trade. So there's no reason to be like, hey, I don't have money to trade. You just work with a prop firm. And he did that. He actually, he funded, and it was pretty impressive. And so, long story short, it's just a process that you got to go through. So we show you how to do that, and we're here at the end of the live lab, right? So we're going to do more of this analysis, like you see, drawing out possible trades, things like that. So come on over to algofactory.tech, click the link in the description. You'll be able to find us that way, and we will show you and teach you how to trade like a hedge fund pro. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m. EST. And don't forget, we do the Monday market update, right? So I do like a free video. It's, I don't know, 10 minutes long. It talks about like Bitcoin. It talks about the NASDAQ and all the Forex pairs I like to trade, gold, silver. And if anybody has any requests, they want to see something specific, just put it in the comments. And, we can consider adding that either to one of these live shows or to the Monday report. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Get the free link, free algo below, and never, ever forget.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you.